Good morning, friends. Good morning. Welcome to Bay Area Unitarian Universalist Church. I'm Reverend Katie McQuage-Loukas, and my pronouns are she and hers. We are entering into a holy season. Ramadan Kareem, blessed Ramadan to those who have entered that time of faithful practice. And I know Lent begins in just a few days for those who are entering that time of faithful practice. These paths to the divine are moments to make space, to bear witness to what is sacred, to make room in our lives for blessings to blossom. What is it in your life that needs to be set aside for a time so that you can enter into this sacred gathering here today? Not set aside forever, but set aside long enough to be fully present, fully trusting, fully in connection with the moment and with one another. Breathe deeply, settle into your seat, and notice where you are. Notice when you are, and notice who has gathered here in this place with you. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you have arrived here today in body, in mind, in heart, in spirit, whether you're joining us here in this room or online, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. If this is your first time, if this is your 500th time, you are welcome here today. We are glad you are here, and we are glad to be here together. I have some opening words for us from Reverend Katie Kandarian Morris, a minister for many years in Colorado. Here we have come into this sacred space, quieter now with our readiness, hushed voices, hoping, trusting for so many things, for connection, for communion, for inspiration, for information, for healing, for wholeness, for words, for music, for celebration and consolation. Here we have come into this space bringing all of who we are. Let us be willing, however we are changed. Come and let us worship together.
Leslie Murphy will light our chalice this morning. We light this flame to remind us that love is the center. As we grow and connect, mature and deepen, love remains the center. When the light of truth burns all else away, love remains. Please stand as you are willing and able for our opening hymn, number 18, What Wondrous Love. McGowan starts a reading with a quote from the 13th century Islamic poet Rumi, which says, "Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. It doesn't matter. Ours is not a caravan of despair. Come, even if you have broken your vows thousands of times, come, yet again come." As Unitarian Universalists, we hold our relationships at the center of our faith tradition. Because of this, how we are together is most sacred. Our promises of how we're going to be are held in our covenants. Our covenants are our aspirations of how we're going to make ourselves and the world a better place. As a spiritual community, it's our work to aspire to be better so that the world can be better. Sometimes we fall short, and as Rumi poem says, "Though I've broken my vows 1,000 times, come, yet again come." This is one of the things I love most about this faith, that it asks us to come yet again back into covenant. Please join me now in saying our covenant. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship. Thus do we covenant with one another.
Our responsive reading this morning is number 437 in the gray hymnal. It's by Reverend Ken Patton, who was a minister in Boston in the 20th century, early 20th century, I think. Number 437, Let Us Worship. Please join in with me on the italicized text. Let us worship with our eyes and ears and fingertips. Let us love the world through heart and mind and body. We feed our eyes upon the mystery and revelation in the faces of our brothers and sisters. We seek to know the wistfulness of the very young and the very old, the wistfulness of people in all times of life. We seek to understand the shyness behind arrogance, the fear behind pride, the tenderness beneath clumsy strength, the anguish behind cruelty. All life flows into a great common life if we will only open our eyes to our companions. Let us worship, not in bowing down, not with closed eyes and stopped ears. Let us worship with the opening of all the windows of our beings, with the full outstretching of our spirits. Life comes with singing and laughter, with tears and confiding, with a rising wave too great to be held in the mind and heart and body, to those who have fallen in love with life. Let us worship, and let us learn to love.
If I could have one wish Good morning. From the first time a spiritual spark was kindled in the human heart, parents have brought their children before their families and friends and communities to be welcomed and blessed. Here in our Bay Area church community, we like to welcome strangers, young and old, and we are committed to the spiritual growth and well-being of our children. And one of the ways that we express that commitment is through the ritual of child dedication. At this time, I ask Hillary and Paul Graham and their children to come forward. Unitarian Universalist dedication is a ritual in which we honor the sacredness of each young life, and we welcome children into this religious community. It is a time when we, as a congregation, dedicate ourselves to supporting these children as they grow, helping to teach them the values of love, respect, and compassion.
And because we are Unitarian Universalists, this is one big covenant we are creating today. Hillary and Paul, all the mystery and the power of the universe has awakened with the gift of your child. At the moment of birth, life is given the promise of renewed meaning and love and new hope. She was born innocent and whole, filled with all the potential a human life possesses, all the energy of the spirit of life and love that flows through us all. As her parents, do you promise to nurture her body and spirit so that she might grow strong and be bold in her work in this world? If so, answer yes.
Yes.
Do you accept the responsibility for her development, especially in the event of any extraordinary need? If so, answer we do. And do you promise to take seriously the charge of setting your child free as she grows into adulthood, to seek out her own place in the world? If so, answer, we do. I know we have some family here today. This child has entered a world in which family is able to play a role in her life. As you witness the raising of a child, you too have a role to play. Your involvement, bringing the heritage you offer, is a gift to this child, to her parents, to yourselves, and the world. Do you also promise to bless this child and nurture her body and spirit? If so, please answer, we do.
We do.
Being a sibling is a special bond. I'm a big sister. No one can know each other more intimately and closely than people who have shared our entire life with us. Do you promise to not only be a sister, but a friend, someone she can count on for wisdom and companionship? If so, say, I will.
I ask the children and the youth of the church, will you be Junie's role model and friends? Will you listen to her, play with her, learn with her, and welcome her into our community? If so, say yes.
I saw some thumbs up. All right, so congregation, I ask all of you, will you appreciate Junie for her uniqueness? Will you teach her and learn from her? Will you love her and respect her as a valued member of this church family? Will you share in sorrows, delight in accomplishments, and encourage her as she grows into adulthood among us? If so, say, we will.
We will.
We are here this morning to say we are glad and grateful for Junie's presence in our lives. As we gather to bless her, we know that we ourselves are blessed by her, with all the joy and wonder she brings into being simply by being herself. The rose is a symbol of the unfolding beauty of a child's life. May you always acknowledge the inherent worth and dignity of this new person as she reveals her beauty and her gifts and grows to maturity. The roses have been stripped of thorns. This child is yours to protect to the best of your ability until she is ready to go out into the world. Be mindful that you cannot hasten her growth or force her to open to the fullness of her life, any more than you could force the budding rose to open. If you were to pry its petals apart, you would destroy its beauty. Be patient. Be careful with your child, knowing that she will open slowly but surely to the world in her own time. In a moment, I will touch the rose into water. Be mindful that all life has come from water and is sustained by water. This water is the water we have gathered in our communal rituals, made holy by those rituals and by our use of it. May this water symbolize that mystery which now links this child to each of us and to the universe. As I touch the rose to her cheek, remember that from the water she was born. And like water, may her spirit rise on the morning dew, race like rushing rivers, explore like the rambling stream, nourish others like gentle rain, and join with all souls in the endless sea of life. Juniper D. Graham, we welcome you. We honor this name as yours forever. We welcome you into this community and we bless you in all your living. We have entered into a covenant this day to be sealed by our ongoing love and care for Junie and her family in the days to come. Now that we have dedicated Junie, may we also rededicate ourselves to the continued birth and rebirth of the spirit of life and love within us. May this moment work its miracle in our hearts so that we may mold our lives more and more in accordance with beauty, truth, goodness, love, and all of the things we wish for Junie and her family. Blessed be, and amen. Just to remember that not long ago you too were blessed. You ready for your keeper of the flame? We begin today by lighting our candle of community. As a people of memory and hope, as I often say, carrying the legacies that were given to us, but also shaping the legacies we will one day pass on to those who will call us forebears. As I light the candle this morning, I ask for good thoughts and prayers for our friend Brenda Cockrell, who has been hospitalized. She is at Methodist and I think would appreciate some cards and perhaps some phone calls. I have also lit our candle for peace. February 24th marked the 3-year anniversary of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. This week, our nation's leaders played dominance games instead of offering welcome and support to the leaders of a nation under attack and occupation. Our peace candle this morning reminds us that as Unitarian Universalists, we are committed to self-determination for all peoples, the right of all peoples to live free and decide their own destinies. With the lighting of the candle, we declare that our government does not speak for us and that we side with love always, which means we side with the people of Ukraine. May the world shift toward justice. May the world move toward peace so that Ukrainians and all peoples might be free. Let us hold a moment of silence and rededicate ourselves to building a more peaceful and more just world. May it be so. We bring our own concerns and joys, parts of our lives beyond the walls of this building, and those things are no less important, even if they are not quite as earth-shattering as many of the things for which we pray. And so I invite us now to light candles of our own, for ourselves, for the people we love, less enormous in their scope, but no less important or necessary. Whatever you have brought in the door with you this week, whether joy or sorrow or worry or hope or all of these things wrapped into one, I invite you to bring it forward so that we might share in it with you and help you hold it for a time. Remember that whatever you have brought, you are not alone. We witness it and we witness you. Come forward as you are moved. please join in with me in prayer? I offer a prayer from Reverend Martha Valentin. Spirit of life that abounds and surrounds us. As we walk our individual paths in our individual worlds, at our individual pace, we have all been led here this morning to this convocation of human spirits, where we can revel in each other's light, where we can share, compartir, just how similar our individual paths seem, in a world that reflects back the negativity of difference. Thank you for your patience as we roam in circles, searching for the hand we do not notice right beside us, or the face full of love and devotion we do not recognize as our own. Spirit of this world and beyond, we strive to keep conscious our interconnections, our interdependence, our trust in one another as humans being, loving, being in truth and with compassion. For we know that what we send out to the universe is what will return, and we wish to send our love to restore this broken world. Amen. Blessed be. Our prayer in song is number 396. I know this rose will open. It's a short one, so we're going to sing it 3 times through.
Our reading this morning is by Rosemary Watola-Tomer and is entitled, What I Didn't Know. At last I'm learning it's okay to be scared to the marrow and still show up wholehearted. No shame it took so long to learn this truth, just giddy relief to finally trust I can be clenched like a hedgehog or poised like a snake and still be open to finding love at the center of what scares me. And when I find no sprig of love there, that is the chance to offer love to the world any way I know how, with a gift, with my time, with the words, with touch, or with a simple act of kindness. And if I find I have no love to muster, then that is the chance to plant seeds of love in whatever soil I find and amend the ground and bring light, bring water.
I have a friend who, while in seminary, long before I thought about going to seminary, he started a UU praise choir. And someone who was not UU said, what are you praising? And being who he was, full of mischief, he just grinned and said, doesn't matter, because he's UU and very impish. We come into this place with different things that we as individuals may praise. Some of us might believe in a god or a goddess. Some of us might believe in the glorious potential of human beings or the wonder of the universe. Some of us might not be able to answer the question, and some of us might answer it differently next week. But ultimately, somewhere in all those overlapping circles in our Venn diagram, somewhere right in the center is our shared core, the root of all of our seeking that resonates through the rest of the circles, something that brings us back Sunday after Sunday. Because we don't think we have to be here. We're not going to get in trouble if we don't come to church. We come here because we are drawn here by longings in our hearts and in our spirits. We often think of faith in the English language and contemporary culture as a matter of belief. We think of believing in something beyond logic. And most of the people in this room don't really go in for that sort of thing, at least not all the time. But we do actually believe in a lot of things that are beyond logic, things that answer those heart and spirit longings that drew us here. We believe in the power of human connection. We believe in the possibility of justice and peace, and we believe that who we are and that what we do matters. But most of all, that central thing that chimes and resonates through all that we bring is our belief in love. And I think it's important to hold fast to the truth that faith isn't simply something we have faith in. The center of our lives is the thing to which we are faithful. We commit to it. We hold it close to us. There are many things we hold close in this community: liberty and freedom, justice, peace, inclusion. But the greatest of these, the thing that holds it all together, the thing that holds it up when it seems so fragile, the greatest of these is love. Whatever else we sing our praises to, we also sing our praises to love. I am often asked by many people how various faith traditions fit within or alongside Unitarian Universalism, because there are certain faith traditions that seem to the people who ask me to be irreconcilable in some ways. And I'm not really sure why I am asked this question so often. Other UU ministers say that they don't get asked this question. I'm not really sure, but I think people think I know a secret. I don't. But I do know that every tradition has elements in it that wouldn't fit with us. Hellfire and damnation have no home here, nor does exercising power over others, authoritarianism, forms of exclusion, even despair. But in any tradition, in every tradition, there are many facets. And the facets that center themselves on love can find a place here in our multi-faith ecosystem. There are plenty of people who are simply Unitarian Universalist with no modifiers. But I know there's also a lot of us who are UU and. We are UU and we love a good lecture, or we're UU and we love Jesus, or we're UU and we love to dance under the moon. If the thing we hold dearest among us, amid our many identities, is love, then we can be open-hearted and open-minded enough to gather among others who also share that central commitment. And we will be able to share our experiences of what is holy and sacred and receive the sharings of others. It has not always been this way, and it is not always this way. There have been times in our histories where there wasn't room for such profusion of belief. And there are still tensions in our faith between humanists and theists, those who gather to learn and those who gather to worship. There are churches in our tradition that are so churchy an atheist would not feel comfortable, and there are fellowships who would never in a million years use language that sounded like reverence. And that's not always a bad thing. Each of our gatherings will have its own texture and flavor, and that is right and good. But I do think that when we center on love, we can make space for all of these things, that we can share freely with one another, and make something beautiful from all our different dreams and visions. This is the part of our tradition that is rooted in democracy, and this belief that each of us has the power and the ability to connect with the sacred without any intermediaries, and then the power and authority to come here and tell us about it. If we build a community of trust, if we make of Unitarian Universalism a container that is capable of holding all that we bring to it, then we find ourselves able to be one community full of diversity and difference. Building that community of trust then becomes a spiritual practice, a way of living out our commitment to love. This container, this community of trust, is what lets us sing the hymns that don't quite work for us. Because we know, you know what I'm talking about. I heard that laugh over there. You know, I've also heard it about Episcopalians, but the joke is that you are too busy reading 2 lines ahead to make sure we agree with what we're about to sing. I'm sure you've heard that one. But when we sing the thing we don't agree with and we're not quite sure about, there's someone 2 rows behind you that needs to sing it, and your voice carries their heart. And next week, when they're not so sure about the hymn, they're going to sing it anyway because you need it, and their voice will lift you up. That's what we do here together. The community of trust is what lets us break down the defenses, the walls we keep up in our lives long enough to light our candles, long enough to wordlessly share that there is something in our life that needs to be witnessed and gently held. Our community of trust enables us to bring our doubts and our certainties, our worries and our hopes. We're able to bring our whole and entire selves because we know the community will be tender towards us. We don't always stick the landing, of course we don't. We're human beings. We're going to argue in a committee meeting. We're going to say something that lands wrong over coffee. We're going to accidentally leave someone off an email chain. We are going to hurt each other sometimes. Human beings have a nearly infinite way to screw up in our relationships with each other. But being grounded in love and centered on love demands that we try again, that we repair when we have hurt someone, that we strengthen relationships, and that we continually doing the work of building up and maintaining our container of trust. Our covenants are the verbal expression of our promises, but we live out our commitments in all of our daily actions. If you did a word cloud of our hymnals, the word love would be in huge letters, front and center. But we haven't always defined ourselves as a people by our commitment to love. I think the marriage equality battles and our Side with Love campaigns did a lot to elevate this language and bring it to the forefront and clarify and highlight this for us. But for a long time, Unitarian Universalists have defined ourselves by what we are not. We are not Trinitarian. We do not believe in hell. These are our beginning places. We are not doctrinal, we are not creedal, we're not a place who put a list of specific demands on our people. We are not a place of centralized authority. We are not. It's really hard to sell what we're not. It's really hard to build a community around what we're not. Defining ourselves by what we aren't is a refuge and an escape. And we have at times needed that, all of us, I think. But it doesn't lead us to wholeness and thriving. It gives us the room we need to breathe, but once we have that, once we know what we are not, we need to come into the fullness of who we are as individuals and as a community. I think that Unitarian Universalism in general, the movement, is moving into this period of maturity and growth where we define ourselves by who we are more than by who we are not. We are coming to understand ourselves as a people of faith in that we are faithful to our commitments to love and justice. And this was always there, underneath it all. But instead of focusing on the how and the why and the process, we are lifting up the why we do what we do. We are committed to building beloved community in a world in which, to build a world in which all people understand that they are whole and that they are loved. And we do this out of the love that is central to our being, again, as individuals, but also as a congregation. In this time when we are bearing witness to the collapse of the order based on tolerance and reason, we might be learning that those things have not been enough to sustain us in the face of oppression, deception, fear-mongering, and authoritarianism. And so we need to know what has the power to give us hope and direction and momentum in these times. And it is our own faithfulness to love. When someone asks you what we praise here in this community, tell them love. Tell them that we ground ourselves in love, that we send our taproots down into that nourishing soil so that we can thrive and be whole. Tell them that we side with love, that we carry our overflowing hearts out into the world to do the work of justice with our own hands. Tell them that we are committed, that we are faithful to being tender and wholehearted in a world that is fragmented and sharp. Yes, tell them that we have no creed or doctrine and that they are free to follow the movement of their own spirits. But most of all, tell them that we praise love, that we center on love, and that we are faithful to the love that moves through all things and will not let us go. May it be so, and amen. Friends, this community is sustained by us. It is sustained by our own abundance and our gifts that, with grateful hearts and generous hearts, we share with one another. Now, may the offering be generously given. It will be gratefully received.
Thank you. Please join me in blessing our offering. This gift from the abundance of my life blesses me, our ministries, and the world. And it's time for the announcements. And I want you to really listen with your hearts open and see places where you can connect with the community, share your talent and your time, and make new friends. It's stewardship time, so if you haven't picked up your packet, there's a table right out there and they're waiting to give you your packet. It's important that we get those pledges in so we can plan a budget. So far, pledges have totaled about $142,000, so we're about a third of the way away from our goal of $410,000. We're asking that you turn in your fiscal year 2025-2026 pledge by March 17th, and this will help plan that budget. The success of our BAUUC garage sale and plant sale depends on you, on all of us. So sign up to help and bring donations. Donations can be dropped off at Cockrell Hall. It'll be Sunday afternoon, March 30th, all day on Monday, all day on Tuesday, and until noon on Wednesday that week. If you can't bring it then, go to the website and there is storage, so you can sign up to put your things in storage. Next week, look for volunteer sign-up sheets, and please offer a few hours of your time. The garage sale gives our neighbors a chance to buy good quality items at very reasonable prices, boost our operating budget. It allows you to make new friends, I promise, and you get lunch. That's not a bad thing. This is an opportunity to really give of your time and talent. This Wednesday, March 5th, is Ash Wednesday in the Christian tradition, and during our Vesper service this Wednesday night, we will, as always, light some candles and share our joys and sorrows. Reverend Katie will also have both glitter and ashes for both blessings and lament, whichever your spirit needs. If you're curious about pagan beliefs and practices, identify as a pagan, or want to learn more about goddess spirituality, witchcraft, or neo-paganism, join us this Thursday at 6 p.m. in the church sanctuary for the Bay Area Covenant of Unitarian Universalist Pagans that will be meeting to celebrate the cycles of the season. If you can't make it this time, we meet the same time on the first and third Thursday of every month. Next Sunday starts daylight savings time. You know, spring forward, fall back. So be sure to set your clocks forward so you're not late to church. It always is awkward when you walk in an hour late. Families, parents, and children are invited to bring their appetites and a dish to share for a delightful family potluck lunch next Sunday after coffee and fellowship in Cockrell Hall. While the children play and are cared for, parents can engage in meaningful discussions about parenting topics. Don't miss out on this perfect blend of food, fun, and parenting delights. After the service today, everyone is invited to join us in Cockrell Hall to mingle over coffee and enjoy light snacks. It's another good chance to get to know each other. Come and share some quality time together. After coffee and fellowship, the Service and Justice Ministry team will be meeting in the youth room. Our church Service and Justice Ministry team is dedicated to putting our UU values into action, serving our neighbors, promoting social justice in our city and in our nation. If you're interested in discussing and planning upcoming activities, be sure to attend. Let's make a difference together. And this isn't a slide, but it's a quick reminder that stewardship training today will be here in the sanctuary following today's service. You know if you've signed up, but stay here for stewardship training right after this service. And finally, stay connected with everything happening at BAUUC by subscribing to the weekly newsletter. That's put together every week by our own Paula Criswell, and she's been dedicated to doing this for a long time. So it's delivered. Yeah. It's delivered every Tuesday. It's packed with news, events, and updates about our community. Use the QR code on the screen or visit BAUUC.org to sign up. And now, please rise in body or in spirit for our closing hymn, number 108, my life flows on.
May we go out today with trust in the tenderness that so often arrives to hold us in our need, with confidence in the courage that arises from within but is not fully our own doing, and with faith in the larger love that never ends and never lets us go. Go in peace and blessed be.